everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Pre-Match Mooty. And today we've got Silo. He's made a comeback after an eventful weekend for him. You know, we spoke about it on Tuesday. He was busy modeling there in Cape Town. We've got Nick Stothard, who came rushing in after a coaching session, hence the Tux shirt that he's wearing. We've got Opta Rich. I hope he's brought his stats today because that's one thing he's really, really good at, apart from betting West Ham, which a lot of people might think is a flaw. And then we've got Wonga Denga, the Dengasaurus, the Denga NATO, who's here representing in the Bafana colors. At, I think as things stand, Silo, am I right? It's 1-1.
Yeah, it's 1-1. It's 1-1. 1-1 still, yeah.
There we go. It's 1-1.
5 minutes.
Yeah, but
guys.
But the coach is rubbish, actually. So, yeah. But, yeah, that's another topic.
But about the coach, though, Silo, you know his head?
Yeah.
Like, how does that happen?
He's got lines in his head, yeah.
Yeah, how does that happen? I'm confused as to how that happens.
Wrinkles.
Yeah, but it's like proper.
Yeah, man, it's got it's like almost like cornrows.
Yeah,
sure
what's
there's a
that from?
condition for it. I don't know what it's called.
I don't know what's from.
You think it's a condition? You think it's like a medical?
I think so.
I think so.
Because I mean, it's quite rare. I mean, you don't see that often.
No.
So
like every time I see it, I'm like, oh look, it is like Celo said, invisible corners. So I suppose that's quite a unique, being authentic. That's what's in for beauty right now. So yeah. But gentlemen, we're gonna start off with the World Cup qualifying roundup. Obviously, we're speaking about Bafana as things stand. Celo, you've been watching the game. Give everyone an update.
Bafana were the better team in the first half. Just didn't take their chances. They're playing with a different formation today to what they normally play with. Playing with a let's say like a 3-4-3. And I mean, they created some nice chances. The goalkeeper made some good saves. But Ghana scored first, 49th minute. Then Percy Tau got the equalizer, 53rd minute, so 4 minutes after. But it's interesting, Percy Tau said that he's going to come and play. And I think he obviously forced Brighton's hand because he hasn't been playing much. So, because when he returns to the UK, he needs to isolate for 10 days. Because South Africa's on the red list. So, for instance, like
respect to him for that. What a
like Jordan Ayew, Andre Ayew, and Thomas Partey aren't available for Ghana because the game's in South Africa and South Africa's on the red list. So they're only going to play the home match against Sao Tome on the probably like on Monday, I think. So they'll be available for they can fly back to England and after the qualifiers and play for their teams. But Percy Tau won't be able to. Bongani Zungu, same thing. They didn't want to allow him to go, but they eventually said, okay, cool, you can go, but don't. He's not going to come to South Africa. He's going to go play for the game in Sudan. But yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess, man. It's a right old mess. I feel bad for certain teams. Even Aubameyang can only play one game. He can't play the other game because they're going to Zambia. It's just a fucking mess, man. I think everyone should just postpone the qualifiers because that's what South America did. South America postponed the qualifiers.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Rather just postpone for everyone, and yeah, rather be fair.
But yeah, it's a real shame when you don't have your best players playing for your national team.
True,
that can't happen. So I agree with you there. That's a real shame.
Yeah, man.
But you guys all know how I feel about international football as it is. Like, get ready for the tournaments. Don't waste your time, especially now with this sort of pandemic that influences currently the teams and the players, and they're all fatigued as well. Out of the football we're watching, guys, who's actually been happy with what they've seen over the last couple of weeks or months, really? I mean, it's been very, very, very poor. It's been slow. It's been lethargic. The only game that I can generally say that I've seen this season that I've really enjoyed, and I've mentioned this previously, was the Juventus-Porto game, and they went to extra time. But, apart from that, the football hasn't been the best. And I think, in these sort of scenarios, they should put their hands up and say, listen, I understand this TV rights, I understand their federations and shit like that, but just give these guys a week off. Give them a week off. Why the hell is everyone playing? I mean, we've also been consuming a shitload of football. I don't know if you guys are fan fatigued. I don't know if that's a thing.
No, I am fatigued. It's a real thing, man. Like, imagine how much football there is. You play, or you watch Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, then you watch Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous, man. You just can't even keep up.
No, you can't.
You can't.
Yeah,
now imagine being a player. Yeah.
It's difficult to keep up.
Guys, I don't have that problem. I only see my team lose once a week, bro. I don't.
Because you only watch it.
Even my players, they don't make their national team. So it's quite chill for Steve Bruce.
He's actually right. Like Saint Maximin's not in the French team. Wilson's not the England team. Darlow's not in the English team. You know what I mean? So who's he watching?
Yeah, who is he watching? But also, what are the excuses?
Jeff Hendrick.
Jeff Hendrick
for Republic of Ireland.
Republic of Ireland.
And they lost. and they lost to
Serbia.
Serbia yesterday. Yeah, 2-1. I think it was.
Yeah.
Guys, I don't know if anyone can see. For those of you that are online, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notifications button, because when you do that, you actually get more people to come back to the show, and then Nick has more people to have talk to, because normally we get Scotty Tuhati on, and he normally chirps him about his hair. So we need to diversify our crowd. So that's very, very important. And we're talking about a lot of football. I mean, I haven't been playing football at all. And I actually had a game yesterday with Rich for the first time in a long time.
I heard you were pretty good. I heard you were pretty good, bro.
I heard you were good, man. I didn't know that you could play.
Nick, we were playing Prem at Milk Bar, and we were like 3-1 down after a couple of minutes, and I thought, oh, geez, we're in trouble here. Then Clouds comes on and just bangs one from halfway in top bins, and then we ended up winning 7-5. And Luke was insane as well.
Yeah,
quality performance from the lads.
Did well. Yeah,
love to hear it. Love to hear it.
Top bins.
Top bins, yeah. It was all about the top bins. Talk about international football. That's as good as it got for us yesterday. Savannah's come in saying, she's watched more football in the last few months than she has in her entire life. So she agrees with Wonga. She can't keep up either. And that's probably Nick chaining her to the couch as well. I don't know what's going on there. Why she feel forced to watch football? Yeah, Nick.
It needs to. You either fit in or you know what else. So
what else?
As long as you're not forcing Savannah to watch Newcastle, Nick, then it's fine.
Yeah, because that's pure torture.
That's torture. That's torture right there.
That is abuse. That is abuse.
Gentlemen, we have Nick Jason's back in the house. We haven't seen him for a couple of weeks. He also says, you celebrate international weeks, Nick, and I think that makes sense. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that Wonga's face tends to brighten up now because he's upgraded from paper to an iPad, and we just want to thank him for improving his tech. Hey, Wonga.
Paper? What's paper?
Paper.
No, he was writing on his paper, and now he's got an iPad to keep track of what we're talking about.
Okay.
Love to see it.
Hey, the man is operating there technologically.
Yeah,
just so carried away for you guys. I'm in.
Right, guys, just to touch on the international football before we move on to the Premier League. Yesterday's game, we saw Czech Republic, your man Suchek there, Rich, scored a hat-trick against Estonia, 6-2. I mean, Estonia do have a bunch of milkmen playing football, so not much more you can ask there, but still, it's his first hat-trick, so well played there. We've also got, who was it? I think France drew yesterday. Am I right, Selo?
Yeah, 1-1. Griezmann scored a top bins shot. But yeah, Zinchenko and his boys. Zinchenko's the captain of Ukraine. So they managed to level it up in the second half.
Selo, with that goal, was that not offside?
It was offside.
And I even heard the commentators say they have VAR. So how did they miss that?
Yeah.
Because I saw that. I saw the replay, and I was shocked. I was like, how on earth have they missed that? It was miles offside. Great goal. Great goal, but my goodness me, they got that wrong.
I couldn't believe it when they just went to the center circle. I was like, flip, man, that was offside. And he said there's VAR. But I think maybe they don't have VAR because if you're playing in some countries, they don't have the technology, I think. I don't know if every country in Europe has technology, Like, for instance, you're going to go play Estonia or you're going to play Gibraltar. Do they have VAR in Gibraltar?
But surely France have it, world champions. You'd expect them to have VAR. So it's so weird that they didn't pick that up.
You can't have a result affected by VAR when another
game in the same group. Yeah. You can't have that.
Doesn't have it.
I think all of them have
fair
to.
enough. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was actually their fault for introducing VAR in the first place. Let's not forget FIFA for just trying something untested in a tournament. Unbelievable. Anyway, and that's also something we need to talk about. I know we say players get super tired and super fatigued, and the teams and the fans. One thing we also not take into account is how tired the refs must also be. Added now this new technology, which is also something interesting. I don't know. Anyway, okay, enough about international football. I can
I'm
feel
sure they're more
like guys.
stressed.
Yeah, they're definitely more stressed, bro.
Nah, man,
more stressed.
You know, the thing with international football, it's not exciting, man. The only international football we want to watch is the actual tournaments. We don't want to watch them qualifying. You know, we're willing to watch the tournaments, but qualifying is
Agreed.
like a snooze fest.
But that's I
agree
mean,
there.
yeah, I kind of feel like qualifiers should be done where you know how they've got the structure. What's that new Europa League thing that they've got going?
Nations
The
League.
Nations League. That's somewhat. They should structure it like that, where for qualifiers you're playing 4 or 5 games, you get the opportunity to get promoted, relegated, and that's it, done. And then you go to the tournaments.
The whole COVID thing is a bit of a mess, though. I mean, I'm a tax team. We've got 2 players that are going to go to the Olympics, and they just had a camp for the sake of having a camp. They're not even playing a game. So now these guys are going to Durban. They're having a camp, but like, I think they've got a camp of like 25 players, but they've got like 15 internationals that aren't available for.
Yeah, so it's 25 local players only. Yeah.
So I don't necessarily know the purpose. I know the Olympics are in August, so I guess the coach wants to meet the players, but at least organize a friendly or something, you know. And I mean, 15 of those players aren't even going to make it because the internationals are just going to come and take their spot. So now, like, I'm thinking from a Tux perspective, if one of those players, they're both starters, if one of them goes and gets injured, you know, like, what was the purpose of the camp? It wasn't like they were qualified. They've already qualified for the Olympics.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I don't know.
I agree with you, Nick.
Like, as a club coach, you would start to think like, what's the purpose?
Didn't make sense for me as well. I'm like, okay, where's the friendly? You know, the last international break, they at least played against Saudi Arabia, and they played twice.
But also, if you look at it, they also are going to bring in 3 over 23s, over age players. So, like, if you look at it, there's 15 internationals plus 3 over age. That's like nearly a whole squad.
Nah, but I doubt not all the internationals.
Not all of them. But like, it's just, I don't know. For me, it just doesn't make sense. But yeah, who am I?
Listen, anything international football doesn't make sense, in my opinion. No. Anyway,
and just sorry, like Le Coq Sportif and Safa, like, come on. I thought they had like a while to sort their
what's happened now? They still haven't gotten it right.
No, they've got their stuff, but it just looks so poor. It looks like
it's big. It's big.
Can someone please explain?
How can they get that wrong?
But how did we go from one of the most iconic football kits in the history of like the New South Africa in the 95 when we won, 96 when we won the African Cup of Nations, and we were sponsored by Cup, and we had legit gold, black, and green. It was like really beautiful stuff. And now all of a sudden it's pure like green and gold. And I know they've done that across all pretty much the teams. Why is like, are we this bright?
We love oversized kits and tracksuits. Like for the Olympics, we got it wrong. National team football got it wrong. Like, surely that stuff is basic. I can't understand how you can't get a kit supplier.
That stuff's all logistics. That's all it is. Logistics. They can't get the logistics.
The Olympics is when? Soon. The Olympics is in August.
Yeah.
What kit are they going to wear? They're going to wear winner or like...
Yeah, but they don't forget that's the stupid thing with the Olympics sometimes is that some of these countries, they say, okay, cool, everyone who's going to be participating in the Olympics wears this kit. Whereas there's other countries who always have agreements where they're saying our football team wears their football stuff, our rugby team wears their 7 people wear their 7 stuff, you know, only the swimmers.
Guys, I'll tell you a story. Quick story about Saskok. I won't mention the swimmer's name, but I know her personally. She was going there to win gold at London 2012. They forced her to wear the shoes that they gave her for the opening ceremony. They were 3 times too small for her. They forced her to wear it. They forced her to wear it. She tried to put her other shoes on.
Also, but let's just take a step back here. Hang on. You said swimmer, right? Now we know if you're a swimmer competing in the Olympics, your feet aren't small. So how do you get this wrong? How do you get this wrong? Yeah, if anything, go for a size bigger. I don't know.
100%. Yeah, but that's administration wise in this country. Sport is it's a big problem, man.
Yeah, there's only I think in South Africa there's only one sport that's run properly, and that's rugby. And apart from that, everything else is rubbish. Because at least rugby.
But the rugby, guys. But look at the kits in the rugby. It's been the same traditional colors for years, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So why did football all of a sudden go super yellow and super green when we had something that was working. And it was a winning formula. They made this new kit. We won the African Cup of Nations. We were still competing, and then we went yellow and green, and all of a sudden, things went sideways.
I remember even 98 World Cup, we had the lions, the white kit and like color, like black, gold, green.
That's still copper, Adidas.
Yeah, and then there was the Adidas one, the first Adidas one. I had it.
2002.
It was like a white one. It was white with like a mesh, like a line of gold, like a line mesh of gold here. And
you had
green.
that kit, Selo.
Yeah, I have it. I still have it in my cupboard.
How old were you? 11.
Yeah, I was very young, but I got.
You got the things when you was young. Eh? That's a nice kit to have when you were young, boy. That's legit.
My dad liked to when he bought himself a football kit. He bought me a football kit. Like
what a gent.
So these kids,
you need to get him to sponsor Goal Lounge, right? Let me have a chat with your dad.
He's retired. He might have something somewhere lying around.
All right, guys. Enough about that. We're gonna move on to I love this idea. This is Rich's idea. We're gonna give a fan gauge, pretty much what we thought about teams before the season kicked off and where they are now and what we're gonna rate them now. And we're gonna give a rating out of 10 and pretty much a brief summary specifically about our teams. And we're going to start off with Rich just because this was his idea. We're then going to move over to Wonga, Nick, Selo, and we're going to end off with me. So, Rich, take it away. Let us know, as a West Ham fan, your expectation versus reality right now.
Okay, so for me, going into the season, I was very short on confidence. Obviously, we only survived the drop last season, by the skin of our teeth, and we failed to make any marquee signings in the transfer window. We didn't bring in a striker. We were stuck with Sebastian Haller up top. And the sale of Grady Diangana to West Brom was, it caused a lot of uproar with the West Ham fans because he was like our next big academy player coming through. So I expected us to struggle. I thought we'd come mid-table to lower mid-table. And, the reality is we've had one of the best seasons I've ever seen as a West Ham fan, other than that season at the Bowling Ground in our final campaign. And we've just been a breath of fresh air this season. So honestly, I would give us a 9 out of 10 because I still believe we're punching well above our weight. If you look at our squad, if you look at, the expectations of us at the beginning of the season, for us to be in the position that we are with 10 or so games to go with the shouts of Champions League football, any West Ham fan would have bitten your hand off. So yeah, I've been really, really impressed with my side this season. It's been so nice not to have to worry about us having to fight relegation dogfights or getting hammered by teams. We've been the side this season to smash the Leicesters of this world 4-0, smash Wolves 4-0, beat Spurs, get results against City
and lose to Newcastle 2-0. By the way,
exactly. Opening game of the season. Opening game of the season. I forgot about that.
And Man United double, yes.
Flipping hell. Yeah, I know. We struggled against United, but we've got some really top results.
Liverpool also had fun against West Ham. Let's not forget that. I think the sides are. We had good fortune against West Ham.
Thanks for the third, boys. I'm out. Yeah, so I'm happy. I can't complain. 9 out of 10. Boys have been fantastic. I'm buzzing. Proud hammer.
So, but before, what was your expectation realistically? What are you thinking? Yeah.
Honestly, I expected us to finish 13th. If we just survived the drop last season, brought in no players, luckily we got Lingard in on loan, but we hadn't made any signings. Okay, we brought Kufal in, who's been great at right back. He just came second in Czech Republic Player of the Year, and Suchek came first. So, they ballers. He's come and done a great job. But other than that, we didn't make any signings. And we were stuck with Sebastian Haller up front, who honestly couldn't score a goal for the life of him. So I expected us to struggle, and it's just been so crazy how the fringe players have stepped up. I think actually the Benrahma signing was good business now, thinking back. At the time it was only a loan deal with an option to buy, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I've been very impressed with us.
Do you think West Ham will do a lot of that moving forward, where they'll bring a player on loan, give him a chance, and then obviously depending on how well he does, I think it's obviously in this sort of case it was a success sort of approach. So do you think it's something they would consider doing? You can't speak for them, but what do you think as a fan?
Definitely. We've finally learnt our lesson. We've stopped buying overpaid, overaged players that are has-beens, and we've gone into the championship. We've spent a bit of money, not too much, but we've gone for hungry youngsters that want to play football. And we've just made the Benrahma deal permanent, I think, like a month or two ago. So that just shows, get him in on loan, see how he does, make it permanent. And it makes sense. That's the model West Ham have got to be looking at for now and going forward in the future. Get those youngsters in from the championship and just, get players that want to be at the football club. In the past, we've had way too many guys that have come to West Ham, looked at it as a stepping stone, didn't really want to be there, threw their toys out the cots, cried when the going got tough. Now we've got players in like Bowen, Benrahma from the championship that genuinely want to be there. I think our recruitment in the last season has been fantastic.
You're forgetting your favorite player, man, Dawson, man.
Craig Dawson. Well, if he could score in the other net, it would be great. He's scoring goals at the moment.
Two consecutive there. But he scored. But he scored some important goals. I remember the header against Leeds. Yeah, man. But I think he's on loan, right? So if you guys do you think you're gonna sign him permanently?
I think so. I mean, he was at Watford. He wasn't playing there. And at the time when we signed him, I honestly couldn't understand where that decision came from. I was flabbergasted, and he's been fantastic this season. Yeah, he scored 2 own goals. Disappointed with that, but other than that, he's been class. Him and Ogbonna at centre back have been great. We need to get Ogbonna back ASAP because Issa Diop has struggled so much this season. He needs Dawson around him, constantly telling him what to do. He has no confidence. So yeah, I've been impressed with Craig Dawson. I really take my hat off to him. Yeah,
and his age is not that bad. He's turning 31 this year, so he still has some 2 or 3 years. You can give him a 2-year contract.
He's got that experience on his side. Everywhere he's gone. When he was at West Brom, he was solid. Watford, I didn't see much of him. Obviously, they got relegated. But, he's got that experience and he's rock solid. Genuinely, like him and Souček, they will run through a brick wall to win a header. So that's the type of footballers you want at the club.
Awesome. I think that's fair. I think that's good spot to be in if you're a West Ham fan, gentlemen. I don't know if you're Wonga Denga. Let's hear this. I don't know if there's no ways your expectation could have gotten worse. It couldn't have been like, come on.
The man was thinking he was challenging there. I know, Wonga.
You're thinking top 6. You're thinking top 6. And now what number is he? I don't even know. What number are you, Wonga?
You're fighting there with me, Wonga. You're fighting there with me.
Okay, no, honestly, I'll be honest. Yeah, I was really, really hoping for, because I wanted Burnley was a top 4. But I said top 6, I'll settle for that. The season went bad after that. But I'll tell you one thing. Despite me also being disappointed about the season, I still think that letting go of Unai Emery was a good decision.
100%.
Yeah, because the way Arsenal played then, and even though we're losing, I can see what they're trying to do. When we were winning with when we were playing with Unai, they didn't look like they wanted to win a game. Let me put it like that. And then he bought. I don't know. Do you guys know who Denis Suarez is?
Yeah. Denis Suarez, wasn't he? They signed him on loan.
He was at Arsenal. Where is he?
He was a centre mid. He was a centre mid, and he went back to Spain.
Have you seen him play?
No.
But he was good at Barcelona, man.
When he came to Arsenal,
but not good. He was decent at Barcelona.
When he came to Arsenal, I was shocked. I could not believe what I was seeing. Looked like a guy hadn't kicked the ball in his life.
Man, guys. No, man.
When he played for us. No, when you play for us.
Wonga, also let's take into consideration, but Wonga, when you're coming from Spain, everything's warm. The climate's warm. Your legs are buzzing. When you go to England, everything gets a bit stiff. Yeah, you freeze. So you need to warm up. You need fans to welcome you and warm your legs up, boy. They need to warm those legs up.
You can say what you want to say. What I saw Denis Suarez, oh goodness me, it was
but
not.
Did you guys have him on loan, ne? It was a loan, ne?
No, man, I'm pretty sure they signed him. Yeah, no, because they did a whole unveiling and everything. No, they signed him. They signed him, and then
they do unveilings on thing, man. I
thought it was a loan deal.
Let me see, man.
I'll double check that. But as far as I remember, but yeah, it makes sense if he was gone at the end of the season. But I thought they signed him permanently, as far as I remember. because I looked at, I was actually quite, maybe that's why, because I was actually quite interested in them signing a former Barca player. But yeah. Anyways, but I mean, they let Unai Emery go. Coming to our season, I mean, Arteta took over for a couple of, a few games after that, and yeah, things look positive. I liked the way they were playing.
No, it was a loan.
But yeah,
it was a loan. It was a loan.
Was it a loan?
Yeah, I remember it being a loan deal. Yeah.
Yeah, four games. He played for 4 games.
Yeah, the games I saw, they were quite poor.
But okay, but Wonga, back to the question: expectation versus reality. Not about Dennis Suarez and what's happening with him right now. I don't know if he's got a child or what's going on. But
yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe
not relevant.
Yeah, I think maybe Wonga had like body audio or something.
I think so.
No, it was actually. I was just happy about us signing such a so called. I mean, he had so much things be said about him, and when he came to us, it was just. I mean, he was just off.
But Wonga, you guys have Odegaard now. You got Odegaard, and apparently got injured yesterday.
Yeah, that's what I heard as well. But again, Odegaard, we have to. The thing is, Odegaard, we have to sign. I mean, he's good. He's good now. I mean, we have him for for this season. But in the season, as it stands, he's going back to Madrid. He's not. At least he hasn't. I mean, and the nice thing is actually you can see is, I mean, and it's also got, obviously there's motive for him to play well as also. But for me, I think looking at that situation, I mean, obviously he has to. I mean, it works out better if he stays for the club.
And if you were try to sign him, Madrid won't accept anything less than 50 million.
Yeah, exactly. But we signed Pepe for 72, so.
I don't think Arsenal are gonna make such mistakes again, bro.
But yeah, sorry, like not to get off topic here, but expectations, I had a lot of expectations. But I think even 6, I don't think was too far off Arsenal. Look at our squad, the players we have.
Are you talking 6 out of 10 or 6 position?
6 position.
No, 6 position. I don't think it was too much to ask, especially with the players that we have. But you look at the teams above us and the players they have as well, they're doing pretty well. But I mean, we're far off. I mean, many of the teams now. I mean,
but if you're saying
you don't know what's happening.
But wait, if you're saying that 6, who in that 6th spot that you think they could have had or should be in, who would they be knocking out of that 6th spot? Yeah,
see, that's the thing. Before I would have said, like, you wouldn't expect the West Ham to be there, but they're playing well. Do you get what I'm saying? They weren't expected before the season. Yeah. But they're playing well. Okay, Tottenham, you would have expected them to be there. Liverpool would have expected to be there.
Leicester, maybe.
I'm looking at Liverpool are not even the top 6.
Yeah, Liverpool
talk about expectations.
But I mean, you would have expected them to be there. But I'm just saying based on the team that we have, where they would have been knocking someone out. I mean, look, we 10th. Everton are above us. Aston.
There's 9 teams. There's 9 teams above you. There's 9 teams above you.
No. There's 8. There's 8 teams above us.
We should have gotten this man. We should have gotten this man an iPad long time ago because he would have known realistically where they were on the log. I don't know. Normally, what's going on here?
What score out of 10 would you give your team this season if you had to rank them?
I'd give us a 5.
5.
It's up, up and down.
Do you think they're performing at 50%?
100%, yeah. The game's
not even 50.
Winning,
not even 50. You think 50?
No, I think we're 50%. Yeah, 100%. I can't. You can't. I mean, look, we've got good players.
50%, 100%. 100%.
50%.
No, 50%. Well, they are technically 150%. They are 9th. 150%. They are 9th on the log. So technically, 50%. I think is a fair observation. Next, just from a Newcastle perspective. Speak just from a Newcastle perspective.
Listen, guys.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Wait. What is Scott like saying? Whip out the tiny violin. Let's hear it. Let's go.
I think. Listen, Rich and I know this situation well.
Please don't categorize Rich in your same sort of conversation.
No.
They're challenging for Europe, my friend.
I feel your pain, Nick. I feel your pain.
Rich has had his season. I had my season in 2013. We were also in the same position. But it happens like once in a while. I hope for your sake it happens more often now, Rich. Okay? But we start the season between 10, a top 10 will be great. But between 10 and 14 is a realistic objective. You know what I mean? And you want to stay away from that sort of, 15th, 16th, 17th, because then it becomes a little bit uncomfortable. And obviously it became very uncomfortable for us. So my expectation was that. So I didn't have high expectations. I think the expectation initially leading up to the preseason was that it was going to be, the expectation would have changed and it would have been, top 8, top 6 if we had got backed and sort of taken over by the Saudis. But obviously that was quickly sort of changed. And I think 10th through 14th would have been ideal. But now, obviously, the reality is, it's not looking great. So if I had to give my players, so what I've said a few times in this show is that I think we've got our squad is definitely good enough to stay up. I think there's more than enough players there to stay up, and we've proved that on individual performances throughout the season, but not consistently enough. So I think, unfortunately for us, we are in big trouble. And I think the players, the squad, they only Jason only saying this because he knows how much shit I give his team. Jason, if we stay up, and I've said this, Claudio, unfortunately this goes to you, but if we stay up, we're competing in the same competitions next year. We're competing in the Premier League, FA Cup, and League Cup. You guys are not going to Europe. So you better hope we get relegated afterwards. Okay.
As things stand, even if we get knocked out to Real Madrid, which I don't think will happen, even if we do, we'll be making bank. So that's more than what Newcastle are doing, regardless of competing in the same competition.
I'm talking about playing in the same competitions. We're going to be playing.
And I'm saying next season they're not going to make the same mistake. That's for sure. We will get that money from the Champions League, and we won't be dependent on Saudi investors.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what competitions there won't be Europe for you guys. That's all I'm saying. So Jason, listen, you better hope we get relegated because we're coming for you. We're coming for you. We'll find you there in the League Cup there and pump you there on a Tuesday night or something like that.
Rio Ferdinand was saying that the Newcastle supporters must do a crowdfunding and buy out Mike Ashley. How much would you contribute?
Yeah, I'd have to look in the bank account. Tons of stuff, but I'd contribute something.
You'd contribute something
here and there. No, I would. Listen, I think that's obviously a great idea, but it's never really worked in the UK. I think you can actually do a bit of research. There's been a lot of different clubs that have tried to do that, but they've only really done it when the club has gone bust and then they restart. So AFC Wimbledon was one of them. Recently, Bury did it. In terms of the money, you're looking at £300 million. The average person in Newcastle is a working class individual. It's a working class city. It's not your Londons or your higher end Manchesters where the guys are earning a lot of money. So obviously in an ideal world that would be great. But going back to my sort of reality, I think it's probably a 2 or 3 out of 10 in terms of the performance. I don't think Bruce has got the best out of his best players, unfortunately. And it's actually quite surprising that we like 2 points or 1 point above. We won 1 or 2 points above relegation because I think some of the performances have warranted us being where sort of West Brom and Sheffield United have been.
Okay, Nick. So, Jason's calling you out here. Technically speaking, we've spoken about this time and time again.
I came up with this, left. Jason. Just keep quiet, man. That's my fucking joke. You guys are killing me, man.
All right. But Nick, from 1 to 10, expectation versus reality, where are you at from a Newcastle's perspective here?
I said a 2, bro. 2 or 3. I
2.
think. Yeah, I can't actually. They don't deserve a 3, bro.
That's hectic.
Has there been any positives from your side, Nick? Has any player impressed you this season that maybe you didn't expect to or something?
Listen, the positives, realistically, if we get relegated tomorrow, say Maximum Wilson and Almiron are gone, and Dubravka, they're gone. Why would you want to go to the championship? I wouldn't. Obviously, I would respect them if they wanted to go and do the job and bring them up. But the club is so toxic. There's players. There's a big divide. Players, players don't want to play for Bruce. Bruce doesn't want to coach a team. He's waiting to get fired so he can earn money. Ashley doesn't want to have the club. He's trying to sell it. The league won't let us fucking get sold. So, bro, it's just a toxic environment. Positives, I would say, is those three. They quality players who we don't deserve. To be fair, I think with better quality service to them, I think they could really do well. If I'm looking at you, Rich, if you want to kick on, the striker I would take any day of the week is Callum Wilson. Oh, bro, he's a proven goal scorer.
When you guys got him, I was gutted because that's someone I wanted to come into the club, but it's just his injury record that just lets him down every time.
Whoa, guys, let's not creep in. Let's not creep into the sort of the next topics in terms of players and dropping names. And I know you're going to mention. I know Wilson will pop up into the next sort of category. So let's finish off there with Selo. Let's hear what you got from expectation realities there.
Oh man, I think my expectations and my reality are matched with Man United. And when I say that, it's because if you look at Solskjaer as a manager, he has not improved in terms of his game management and his tactics. He's still the same manager. Sometimes we say that Solskjaer he just puts players on the field and hopes for the best. You know what I mean? And this season, Man United has done very well against let's say the lesser teams. So the teams that are currently outside the top four. They've done very well. One day games. Beat a couple of teams home and away and everything like that. And then the home record was quite poor when we started. We improved on that. Away record has been amazing this season. Still haven't lost in the league. But expectation was to still be in top four. That was my expectation. I didn't expect us to win the league. So being in second place is top four. You know what I mean? It's either you're number one or you're top four. That's how I look at the league. It's either you're number one or you're top four. So the league is first place, and top four is the second place for me. So the expectation was top four, and we've gotten into in the top four. We just need to obviously make sure that we stay there and secure it till the end of the season. We apparently want to offer Solskjaer a new contract, £10 million, £10 million per annum for a 2-year contract. I wouldn't do that, and especially
Ole in
at this time of the season, man. I don't like it as well. Let him finish the season, reassess at the end of the season, and have a look at what are your options at the end of the season. If you commit now, you don't know if there was a manager that you might have liked that could have become available. He still has a year left.
Well, Pochettino might potentially win the Champions League this season. Could have been a Man United manager that.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. So I think with Solskjaer, the thing is that I think his ceiling has been reached at Man United. There's no further he can go. And also we've seen in his tactics, that guy. I didn't watch the game on Sunday. I watched no football this weekend, but I caught up on my Man United channels that I watch. That guy took off Pogba, Van de Beek, and he brought on McTominay, guys. Scott McTominay. McSauce. How do you do that? That's criminal. How do you do that? How do you take off those two players and bring on McTominay? I understand, yes, these guys have come back from injury, but come on, man, at least do something else. Rather put on what's this Ahmad Diallo or someone. Try go forward or something. He brings on McFred. Fred had a howler of a game. That first goal that he gave away, that was such a stupid goal. Howler. Yeah. Like Fred is the worst passer in the Premier League. I believe he's the worst passer in the Premier League. Fred, the only thing that Fred, the qualities that Fred has, right, that is probably top 5 or top 10 in the Premier League, right, is he's pressing. So like his energy in the midfield. So he's like pressing when someone has the ball. There, he's very good at it. Like top 5, he'll work for you. He'll get there, whatever. But when he gets the ball, or when you pass him the ball, first touch sometimes evades him. You know what I mean? And then
the man loses the ball so much.
Exactly. You know what I mean? It's all good and well for you to have the energy and to track back and to mark and to attack people and whatever. But then you still need to, as a player for a team that's in top 4, you need to get on the ball and make a pass. You know, N'Golo Kante is not the best passer in the world, right? But at least he's economical with the ball at his feet.
Not even just that. Like, remember the Champions League game a couple of weeks ago? The man, I think it was 93rd and 94th minute, is bombing forward all the way to the other side of the box to box, creating space. Not doing anything with the ball, but creating space, opportunities for the team to get them. So
and moving from one side to the other side. You know what I mean? That's
he's a World Cup winner.
You progress with the ball. You know what I mean? He's very good at progression with the ball. We're not saying that you need to be, Paul Scholes with your pass. We just need to say you need to be economical with your pass. You know, just make sure.
The fact that you've just mentioned that, though, how far have they fallen when you've gone from a Paul Scholes to that?
Even Michael Carrick must be like, Michael Carrick used to make such nice long balls. He's probably like, oh shit, man, I've got these guys now in this team. I'm trying to coach them. I'm trying to teach them how to make a nice pass, and they can't even make a pass. So,
but you know what, Silo, still from an expectation, from an expectation perspective, I can't talk, guys. You know what I'm trying to say. Overall, I mean, they're meeting your expectations second to second. You know, it is what it is. You've got.
Out of 10,
I
out
agree.
of 10, yeah.
I agree with Fana what he said there. In terms of his comment there, I mean, we can't win the league with Ole. Literally, top 4 is the best we can always do with Ole. Even if you bring in the players, guys, the players need to be coached, guys. You can't just roll the dice and then expect players to play. So he's
saying you're exceeding expectations. So that's an interesting one.
No, but also this season, if you look at a team like Liverpool are far, like doing so poorly. You know what I mean? So for instance, we thought a team like Man City and Liverpool would have been top 2, right? And then Man United was going to fight for the top 3 or 4. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's more of Liverpool being poor than Man United being amazing.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I like how I've still got to speak for Liverpool from the expectation side. So thank you for mentioning that there, Silo. But, at the end of the day, they're still there, regardless of what's happened, regardless of everything else. They compete in the big games to a certain extent. They don't necessarily win the big games, but they frustrate teams. And I know when Liverpool play Man United, Ole tends to have the number of the bigger managers because he sets up shop in a defensive manner and plays for the counter-attack. So he's got something there. Whether it's not, it's the experience that'll help him kick on. But that, out of 10, quickly, what would you give the number?
I'll give them a 7.
7.
Decent.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I mean, look, guys, we're going to talk about the Liverpool perspective now.
The position on the log is what helps them. But if you look at the points tally, it's not the same amount that Mourinho had when he came second. So
okay, so that's current, right? So end of the season, if they don't win anything, does that still stay a 7?
Nah, it drops down. It has to drop down.
Okay.
Because if you don't win the Europa League, then it drops down.
So if they don't win anything, should he still have the hot seat at Old Trafford?
No, man. He can't have the hot seat because I feel this is his ceiling. I don't think that Ole in the current Premier League with the managers that are there, he can win the league. I don't think he can win the league.
Yeah, I mean, does anyone dispute that?
I don't think he can, guys.
No, and that's why I should stay.
I think perfect scenario, end of the season, Newcastle survive, Brucey gets fired, Man United decide to fire Ole, and then
Ole goes north.
Ole goes north.
King of the North, baby. Okay. All right. Look, guys, from a Liverpool perspective, we all know what's currently happening with Liverpool. I mean, when they started up until January, we could argue that Liverpool were performing at an 8-9, competing for the league title in most things whatsoever. And then, the wheels slowly came off. Pickford happened. Pickford derailed the steady ship somewhat. So, I mean, if I'm looking, I'm going to be in and out about this. If we still somehow come away with the Champions League, at the end of the day, it's a successful season for us. If we don't, then you've got to say, obviously expectation wasn't met because we were all expecting to compete for the title. At this point, you could say we had a 5, realistically. But yeah, if they come away with the Champions League title, then we know,
No
which
ways.
is possible.
So
possible.
Are you being realistic about you
Nope.
saying that Champions League is possible, or are you being rather hopeful?
Why?
Because
Why is Champions League
It's
not
like
possible?
me. It's like me saying
No. What is the
Champions
reason?
Arsenal.
No. But
I'm
what is the
asking.
reason as to why Champions League is not possible? Tell me.
Listen, the best way
Bayern.
for you to win Champions the best way for you to get into Champions League next season is to win it.
Yeah, but let's see this
So not
now.
top four.
Realistically,
Not top four. Top four is not the way for you to get into Champions
I'm not looking
League.
at top four. I'm not even bothered by top four. It is the Champions League. It's exactly what you're saying, and I'm
you're
working
thinking
out.
winning.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'm saying how many games are left in the league? There are a couple of games left, right?
10,
Nine,
9
yeah.
or
it's
10.
quite a-
9
Yeah.
or 10, yeah.
So let's work out how many games are left in the Champions League. It's 2 against Real Madrid. It's 2 in the final, so it's 5 games if you make it to the final. 5 games
Yeah.
in total. We
Yeah.
know those are 5 games that they need to be super focused for. The one downfall we have are our centre-back pairing, realistically speaking. But if you've got Fabinho in the centre mid, we can somehow, with Thiago hopefully buzzing next to the guy, we can make something happen there. And it is Champions League. And when we're looking at finals, Klopp
think
has
you're
made
right.
it to 3 European finals in the last 4 years. So why would
And
why
they're
is
saying
this
that they don't
suddenly-
get injured,
But
and
but
they
I
don't
think
get injured. What if they do get
think-
injured?
but I think Claudio, I think you need to be realistic. We're not in a romance flick here where Gerrard is playing.
Champions League's all about romance. I mentioned it on
No,
Tuesday. I think the other lads were here.
listen. We're not. We need to say that you can win Champions League, ne? Not saying that you're going to win Champions League, like because it sounds like you're saying that we have a highly good chance, like a 90% chance of winning Champions League. You need to come back down to earth, into reality, and say that we've got a 60%.
All I
chance of
know,
winning.
Silo, is that
Because-
Liverpool
because there's
have a
a team-
90% chance more of winning the Champions League than United do at this moment in time. I mean, pretty much 100% chance. United have no chance.
100%,
So for me, I can still say,
100%.
and I know the
100%.
Champions League, we know how tournament football, the best team doesn't always win. That's not how it works.
That's true. That's
Sometimes
true.
it does.
I don't dispute that. I'm not saying that Liverpool can't. Ne? I'm just saying that Liverpool have been so blunt. You know that pencil that you have to sharpen every second. Liverpool's forward line is so blunt.
Yeah, sharp. You know what? We've
Man.
got a short pencil, but now that short pencil only needs to play 5 games. It's a short distance. So
Yeah,
now we've got
listen,
Salah. He's
guys,
staring at
guys,
Ramos. He's staring at the boy. He's gonna eat him.
Guys, can you
He's gonna
please tell this guy? I'm not saying that you can't beat Real Madrid. That you can. Real Madrid are not amazing this season. They're not amazing. They're just sharp. They're just there. They're the third best team in the league for a reason. You can definitely beat them. But I'm just saying that after that, here come
Yeah,
Kak.
it's gonna get real. It's gonna get real. I don't see it happening. Nah, I don't see it
love
happening.
it.
All right. Well, apart from
No
that,
offense.
gentlemen, no offense
What's your
taken.
what is it? What is your final out of 10?
Look, as things stand, I'd say
5.
5 only because look, I know Jason's mentioned a 3, which technically, if we're looking
I agree,
purely
Jason.
no, if you purely taking results into consideration, 100% 3. But if you're taking everything into consideration, taking how the season went, technically, I mean, we were on top half the season. Things came off, things happened, and that's the result of where we're at now. Then I start saying, okay, let's add these variables, and then it's not a 3; it's gone from a 3 to a 5, in my opinion. And yeah, Jason, let's see what you said. You said Rafa won the Champions League with the worst squad. Fact. Klopp got to final with Karius in goals. Another fact. I know we love talking about facts. Where's Matt when we're talking about facts? You won't even make Nick's team. No, that's interesting.
No, but I've got a problem with Jason's comment there, because the previous one he was asking about my squad doing a West Ham, but now he's speaking about Rafa doing an impossible job with a Liverpool team that wasn't great. So like the coach has a lot to do with getting the best out of his players. So Jason, you better watch out. Or I'm not gonna buy you
Lingard
coffee
start
tomorrow.
England, boys. You love to see it.
Can we,
Sorry,
before we
guys,
move on to the
jump in
next one? No, before we move on to the next one, Lingard is. Do you guys think going to the Euros he makes the England squad? He's starting. I mean, he's starting now.
If he carries on like this, he is. Yeah.
He's starting
Yeah,
tonight
100%.
for England, boys. That's how crazy it is.
Nah, he
Alright.
is. He's obviously got.
Yeah, but
obviously
he is
he's-
playing.
he's-
Guys, he
obviously-
is playing literally the
San
blind
Marino.
pool of Europe. They get
Yeah, no,
battered
fair
left,
enough.
right, and center. But
Fair
yeah,
enough.
good for him though. He does deserve the call up.
Wow, Jude
Scotty
Bellingham
only
is
comes in
starting as
here
well,
for the
so-
blood noses. Scotty's only here for the Barneys. All right, gentlemen, it is time. I hope you have your sheets in front of you, your team sheets. We're going to discuss the Premier League best 11 so far this season, who we think. And we're going to start off with goalkeeper. And I don't know, how do you guys want to do it? Do you want to each just have a go where we each say our goalkeepers, or do you guys want to talk about your teams individually?
Let's do it that way.
Yeah, let's just go position by position.
All right,
Everyone
position.
just say their guy.
But defenders, say defenders. Don't just say right back. Say defenders.
Yeah.
Well, we're starting off
Some
with
people
goalkeeper.
might have 3, some might have 4.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right. So when we start with the defenders, you guys just mention how many defenders you have, and you go ahead for it. But right now we're going to talk about goalkeepers.
Hundreds.
Let's hear it.
Who's starting?
Go for it, Rich.
Rich start there. Rich start.
The same
Okay,
order.
cool. So I'm gonna go with Martinez.
Shoro's here with Edison. Sorry, Rich. Shoro's mentioned Edison.
Yeah,
How can Edison be mentioned when the Oak's he doesn't have much to do during the game? Maybe because he's good at the ball at his feet. Right, Rich.
So I'm gonna go with Martinez from Villa. He ended last season at Arsenal really well, and this season he's done extremely well in an Aston Villa side that doesn't have the greatest defense. So I think, he's been absolutely solid. 14 clean sheets for a team like Aston Villa is very, very decent return. So that was my choice.
Well, you're not just looking at the fantasy league schedule, and he's got the most points at the moment.
No, man.
He's up there. He's up there, but I've watched him. He's made some quality saves this season.
He's saved the most penalties, I think, this season as well. I think he's saved like 2 this season, and he's got top 5 in most shots saved. So, actually, surprisingly, also that leads goalkeepers in that list, and he just plays for a bad defensive team. But let's carry on. Sorry.
Yeah. I was also gonna say Martinez. And only because of the fact that you wouldn't, him saying when he left Arsenal, saying that it was actually a step up. You just thought, those are just words. And then the way they ended up playing, it just kind of, the confidence that he had in himself as well, showed a lot. And he's actually done the work. And just as Richard has said, the stats there, for me, that's why I've chosen him also as goalkeeper for my 11.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to go with Edison. They've conceded the least amount of goals. I think that's a good indicator for me. He can play out the back. He's pivotal in terms of the attack as well, in terms of retaining the ball. Obviously, like the sort of modern-day goalkeeper, as is sort of your keeper at Liverpool. I rate them both highly. I think he's just edged it this year. Claudio, your keeper.
I think
not Carey.
I think Martinez, for me as well. He's been great performances. Made some crucial saves for Villa. Villa's not just exciting going forward, but him in goals has definitely contributed to them being in the top 10.
Okay, fair enough. I was leaning towards 2. But the first name I actually wrote down was Darlow for Newcastle, only because I've seen the man. He is pretty much a one-man team for Newcastle. Let's be honest. But if we forget about points, forget about clean sheets. Let's talk about what he's done for the team this season. Also, were they fighting relegation? And if it wasn't for him, I think they'd be.
He's picked the ball out of the net pretty well. I must give him credit for that.
Yes.
No, but I think Claudia is being biased because he couldn't score past him at St. James's Park.
Possibly, but then in that case, if we're being biased, and I've got a whole bunch of other goalkeepers in the bottom half of the table. The other one I wanted to mention was Pope as well, and someone who I think should probably be England's number 1 is Nick Pope. So those are the 2 I was going with, just because I've personally seen the amount of saves they made against my side. So those are pretty much the teams that I got. But next we're going to move over to defenders. Let's see.
Guys, are we going to make a formation, or are we going to go 4 defenders, 3 defenders?
I've got 4 defenders.
I've got 4 defenders.
4 as well.
4 defenders, 4 defenders.
I've got
4, yeah.
I've got a 4-3-3 situation happening. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah,
I got a
Yeah,
3-5-2.
What?
Okay.
Yeah,
3-5-2.
Rich.
West Ham.
Rich is trying to be a
I'm
technician
tinkering,
here.
boys. I'm
Okay,
tinkering. here.
Richie, tell us your 3 there, mate.
Okay, so I've just gone. So I've gone with Cancelo, if you can even categorize him as a defender, but he's been unreal this
good
season. Ruben Diaz also been solid as a rock, and then I've gone for my boy Aaron Cresswell. I think he's been unreal this season for us. Most assists of any defender in the league. This has been his best season in a West Ham shirt by a long way. So yeah, those are my 3.
Yeah, I think those are 3
Okay,
good ones.
I've got on the right. I've got Cancelo. I've got Laporte and Ruben Diaz, and then I've got Tierney on the left. I think.
Wait, say it again,
for me,
Wonga. Say it again.
Tierney.
Yeah, on the left, yeah.
Tierney. I got Diaz as well.
Yes,
I got Laporte, and Cancelo.
Fair enough. And Cancelo.
Yeah.
So three City boys.
The outstanding 2 for me there would be Tierney and Cancelo.
But these guys are. But these guys are. Yeah. Claudia, we need to audit our panelists, bro.
Why are you calling this guy out? Why? Just tell him why.
Both of these guys, Cresswell, Tierney, sure. Let's carry on.
Okay,
Carry on.
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go.
Go there.
Okay, so I'm going with, because of like recent. It's not recent. He's had a great season, but I think, and also because I've been told I look like him.
Sure.
I think Luke Shaw deserves it for
You
the
look like
left-back
Luke Shaw. Who
position.
told you that?
He does have a bit
All the lads,
Not
all the
even-
lads
not-
group say.
bro, like literally so many people, bro. But anyway, right back in Sale, I'm gonna go with Stones, and I'm gonna go with Tyron Mings. I think he's done a great job there for Aston Villa.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Mine is Cancelo, Diaz, Stones, and Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw has been. He's created the most chances for any defender in Europe, so that says a lot. I don't know about Tierney and Cresswell, but and who's starting for England next?
Listen, you know what? Actually,
Yeah, fair points. No, Shaw's been solid. I'll give you that. He's been solid.
No, he has been.
Cresswell's
But
got
Rich-
a better left foot, but
Rich, I had Cresswell down here as well. I've got Cresswell and Shaw down here, and I was undecided between the two, largely because they both offer something going forward for their teams.
They have. No, listen. Cresswell has.
And Cresswell's had a hell of a season.
Has been better than Tierney. Unfortunately, Wonga. But yeah, I agree. That I agree with. So I just don't know where Tierney got out, but I think it's just because he plays for his team and he had to get someone in his team.
Yes, no, definitely. I like Tierney. That's the honest truth about it. I can't lie to you.
I want to ask you guys something about Shorter here. Shorter mentioning Rudiger. I mean, does maybe what? Because the second half of the season with Tuchel coming in, I'm not sure about the Rudiger thing.
No, I think if you want to put someone in the Chelsea defense, I think rather put Azpilicueta, man.
I really like Rudiger. I think he's got so much potential to be an animal of a centre back, but he has made quite a few mistakes. But like you said, he has been quite a mainstay since.
But we're talking for this season.
Season.
Nah,
So
I agree with Shoro.
But
I
I
agree
do
with
love
Shoro
him,
about James Justin because he was class until he got injured.
Until he got injured, yeah.
Before his injury, he was tearing the league to bits.
No, he was top.
Unfortunate
top.
that injury, yeah.
Top.
But
I've
at
watched
right
him play.
back.
Decent player.
Nice. But at right back, I've got, with majority of you guys, Cancelo. I've got Diaz at centre back, and then I had Cresswell left back, and then my centre back only because without him the season would have been worse for Liverpool.
It's gonna face Fabinho.
Oh God.
100%. Fabinho.
I'm done. I'm out.
I'm also out, guys. It's in the show.
I'm out.
All right. Okay. Midfield.
Okay, so I've gone with a 5. I've got Son and Salah on either wing. I've got Bruno as the cam, and then I've got Suchek and Gundo as like holding midfielders. So 5 in midfield.
Okay. Wonga.
No comments.
For me, again, this is my starting 11. No judgments here.
It's all about the judgment.
Yeah, this was a difficult one, eh? But I got in the. Would you call that? Yeah. Okay. No. This is my midfield is only 3. I play 4-3-3. So I've got Bruno. Difficult to say it, admit it, but yeah, the guy's been he's been on fire.
He's been playing my team.
Yes, he's been hot. And I've got Gundogan there as well. I think he's also I think he's also been pivotal to Man City's runaway, putting everything behind the net and not even being responsible for the goals, but he still scored them, and only because I believe it's also a newly found gem in Arsenal. I would say yes. Thomas. I mean Smith Rowe. Just because the way he's also helped out. Yeah, Smith Rowe.
This is the Premier League best
team of the season.
You guys,
how can you be putting Smith Rowe in there?
You're not serious, Wanga. You're not serious.
I'm dead serious. Smith Rowe, you guys asked me for our best 11, and I'm telling you there.
Leave
How do you put Fabinho in a centre back? How do you put Fabinho there?
No, but Fabinho, come on, guys. But Fabinho versus Smith Rowe, yeah. Come now.
I agree.
If I put Smith Rowe, I can put Smith Rowe.
But why can Fabinho not be at centre back of the best 11? Why not? Tell me, guys.
Because he's not been the top 5 centre backs in the Premier League.
They've conceded 36 goals. They've conceded 36 goals.
That's the shit that's around it.
Arsenal's conceded 32. So I must say Gabriel must be there. Fabinho's there.
Yeah, he's right, bro.
Gabriel must be there. Fabinho's there.
You know what? I'm gonna.
I can say Gabriel is there.
If Fabinho
I can say Tierney as well. If he can't say Luke, I can say Tierney.
I've already conceded. I'm walking away from this one, even though somewhat there's a little part of me that says you guys are all wrong.
Okay.
So then say your midfield. Say your midfield again. Say your midfield again, Wanga.
I said, who did I say? I said Smith Rowe, Gundogan, and Bruno.
Okay.
Bruno, right. Definitely the best there.
Okay, yep. So I'm very similar. I've got Fernandes, Gundogan, and then it was honestly a toss-up between Tielemans and Souček. But I think for the sake of Richie, I'm gonna go with Souček.
Yes, I love it.
Okay. I love it. I'm the same as Nick. That toss-up of Souček or Tielemans. But I went for Tielemans. He has been the driving force of Leicester City this season. Because I thought to myself, listen, Leicester's in the top 3. How did they get into the top 3? You know what I mean? I asked myself that question. Who has played the whole season? Who's been consistent? Who's been the guy in the team? You know, James Maddison was there hot, but got injured. Vardy was hot at the beginning of the season. Now it's Iheanacho. Defense, it's been Fofana basically who's been consistent, and James Justin. But midfield, Tielemans, Bruno, and Gundogan.
Decent.
Yeah, I like Shoro's Ndini sort of shout there. That's an interesting one. No one's considered him. And talking about a Leicester sort of impact, that's someone that's been great for them.
He was injured for a long time.
He was injured though, yeah. He was.
Yeah.
He had that injury. That's why I like him and like, what's this guy's name? The
Justin.
No man, the Turkish centre back. He was also injured, and he obviously just came back now.
Sayuncu.
Yeah, Sayuncu. Yeah, so yeah.
All right, guys. So for me, I've got the 2 holding midfielders in front of the defense there, only because I think both of them need to get a shout. So I've gone a Souček and Tielemans. Obviously, we know he can make those late runs in the boxes. So those are the ones I've gone with. Okay, guys. So moving forward, we're going to go more into the attacking area. We can either discuss sort of attacking midfielders and strikers as one.
Or did you have 4-2-3-1?
Yeah, 4-2-3-1. Yep.
Okay, cool. Sure.
That's what I've gone with. Only because I was trying to make it.
I'm going to give you a front 3 now. That's all I'm
That's
me too.
Same, yeah.
Me too.
Okay. All right. Let's hear it.
Okay, so I've gone with 2 up top, Harry Kane, and it was a toss-up between Calvert-Lewin and Bamford, but I went with Bamford because, you know, he's done well in that Leeds team this season, you know, to score, I think, 14 goals, 15 goals for a guy that was jamming in the Championship. You know, that's a very, very good return on your first full spell in the Premier League. So, yeah, Harry Kane and Bamford for me so far.
Yeah, I've
I
got.
wanted to put Messi in, but I couldn't.
He hasn't been pivotal yet.
He's been injured as well for poor West Ham there.
Yeah, I got Salah, Kane, and Bamford as well. I mean, obviously it wouldn't work, obviously in a 4-3-3, but Bamford is done well. I mean, especially a team that's coming up, and he's where he is on the. I think he's also got 6 assists with 14 goals.
Quite good.
And Salah as well has got 17 goals. Liverpool not having the best of seasons, still putting the ball in the back of the net. And Harry Kane has got 17 goals and he's also now created 13. I don't think you can leave him out your squad. Unless maybe you've got Firmino in your squad, hey Claudio.
Nice one.
Yo, Wanga's fighting tonight. I love it.
Yeah,
he's on fire.
Taking him the whole season. He's taking him the whole season,
bro.
but he's coming. He's getting it.
Yeah.
Sholo always has
Jolinton, right?
Sholo always has interesting choices there.
But it's Scott Sharch is also interesting. No Kane, Grealish, Calvert-Lewin, and Son.
You have to have Kane in there, surely.
Kane's top with assists and goals, so that makes no sense. But
if you put sorry, my bad. Yeah, carry on.
No, go for it.
Now I was gonna say, like, if Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I chose Bamford over him because Bamford had 6 assists and he's got 0 assists. He's obviously, but he had a good season. But
so for me, if
Bamford
my lineup had to actually work in a game, I think it would work perfectly. But I think they're deserving of it as well. You have down the middle, you have Harry Kane. To the left, you have Salah, and to the right, you have Son, or vice versa. Yeah, so I think in terms of assists and goals, that's the best you're going to get, and I think they're deserving of it.
Interesting. Now mine is I've got someone who's no one has mentioned them yet so far. I've got Bukayo Saka.
That's on my list.
I think Bukayo Saka.
He was looking down at his eyes.
Saka, they lit up. They're like, yeah, man. I think he's
I do want to say it, but
he's been the best Arsenal player this season. A shining light. And just doing everything, crossing, assisting, scoring, and he can play in multiple positions. Very versatile. It's him, Jack Grealish. I know he's injured currently, but just the sheer amount of assists that he had and the chances he was creating for Villa was ridiculous. When Villa were on fire, he was the guy who was on fire. You can ask Claudia about that. And then Harry Kane. Guys, 30 goal contributions. You can't leave him out. You cannot leave Harry Kane out of your team.
No doubt. Yeah, man. So for me, I've got those exact 3 players. Obviously, because I've gone with the 4-2-3-1 sort of situation. What I've done is I've had to find a way to kind of fit De Bruyne in behind Kane. So I've done that. De Bruyne behind Kane. I put Saka on the right and I put Grealish because that guy can just do anything. In my opinion, I put him to let him roam free on the left. That's kind of what I did. Let him drift in. Also, I'm very curious, Shorter, have you been watching a lot of Leicester games here and some Leeds games? Rafinha, Barnes getting a shout.
Rafinha's been good, but never team of the season. Sure.
Yeah, never team of the season, but he's been good. Even Barnes,
he has been good. And Barnes,
Barnes makes the second or third team of the season.
Yeah.
Any special mentions, guys, that could have probably made the team that we haven't mentioned? Like, for example, I don't know what your thoughts are on Mount, everybody, just for what he's done for Chelsea.
Mount.
Very good, yeah.
True,
Mount.
yeah. Mount's also been
I'll say Mount has a shout. I thought of, guys, Edward Mendy for Chelsea as a goalkeeper.
Yes.
I thought of him as one of the best keepers this season. Chelsea have kept a lot of clean sheets, and he's been the goalkeeper for probably, let's say, about 29 games. Let's say 25 of those games. He's kept quite a lot of clean sheets, and he's made crucial saves. So I think Mendy should have a shout.
Mendy. Yeah. All right, guys. Scott's brought up something interesting here, saying Calvert-Lewin, 25 games, 14 goals. Considering he's playing for Everton, there's only 3 goals behind Kane. That's a good shot for a man looking for that English spot. So thanks for that, Scott. That is quite a valid point.
Good stats, but also
it's the assists.
Say how many assists Kane has there.
Yeah,
doesn't have even half of that. But
what said 0?
It's 0.
Yeah.
No assists.
Zero
He's one
assists.
man, one eye. That's just for goal.
And that's
And
ball in the box, and that's pretty much what he contributes. If the ball's thrown directly
Yeah.
into the box, he can do something. Nothing else, I don't
Yeah,
think.
he's
My
not a
opinion.
great passer. He's not a great passer. You can see it. Oh, goodness me.
All right, guys. Premier League surprising player of the season so far. Who for you has come out of nowhere, and who's that man?
I actually didn't think about this too much, but having thought about it quickly now, I'm going to go with Saka because of the sheer leap that he's made this season. Because we always knew he was a decent player, but this season he's really shone properly as a young footballer coming through. So yeah, for me, I'd go with Saka.
Yeah, same here. I also go with Bukayo Saka. I could see he was a good player, especially because they started him off left back, went to left mid, went to left wing. Now he's playing on the right, and even I think the previous game they just played him back on the left again. And every time I've watched him play, he always looks. I mean, he looks dangerous, and I mean he's 19, 20. And he's Arsenal's, like Selo was saying, he is Arsenal's best player. And at times you see him, yes, if he's not there in the field, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I see when was there a game where Arteta did sub him? I think it was the last one, and I was like, oh goodness me, it's pretty much over. But yeah, it didn't end that way. But yeah, Bukayo Saka for me.
So mine's a little bit unconventional. I'm flipping it on its head. So I'm so surprised how shit this guy is and how he's an actual professional footballer. So mine is Wellington. I honestly thought when he spent 40 million pounds, he would actually become at least something like an average player.
Damn.
He is so bad that the man doesn't deserve to even have a contract in professional football. Not even in the PSL. The level in the PSL is too high for him. So that's my surprising player because I honestly thought he would eventually become fun. So yeah, that's my story.
Oh, it's such a tough question. I think.
It's
Man,
difficult.
it's a difficult one, man. Because I guess you have to. Is it because the player had a rubbish last season or whatever? But I think Tonga Ndombele, guys, for Spurs, has been a surprising player, and I only say surprising. And I only say surprising, not that he's not that he's a bad player, but he had such a poor first season under Poch, and bit of Mourinho, where he didn't look like he was happy at the club, didn't look like he was going to settle, just looked like he's just out of it, he was just going to leave, and he's Spurs' highest, what's his record fee. So I think he's a surprising player.
Yeah, I think everyone thought he's probably making his way out this season, and he stuck around, and he's made a hell of an impact. For me, it was threefold. There's a bit of a triangle going on. Obviously, Bamford came in here. He's been scoring goals. Saka, definitely worth mentioning. But for me, I think Watkins, in terms of what he's helped, I know they've got Grealish, but Watkins has made a big difference coming to Aston Villa from the Championship. And he's just given them an extra player, an extra body for Grealish to play off for me. So I think that's pretty much kept him in the Premier League from that perspective.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
He's good.
Good shot.
Dwight
McNeil from
Burnley.
Yeah, he's done well for the lads. He's done well. It's not too bad. I also like
he's a good player.
He's also done all right.
Under 20, I think he jams England under 21s, McNeil.
Yeah.
Skinny guy.
No, I agree with Squadron Basuma, man. That guy, he's going to play for a top 6 team soon.
There was a goalkeeper for Brighton. Is his name Martinez? Sanchez.
He just got picked. He just got picked for Spain. Yeah,
his story was quite unconventional. He moved over when he was 15 to Brighton's academy, and I looked at him as he's actually he's a unit, eh? And the man can pass the ball. He's got great technique, and I honestly think he's a great goalkeeper. Even if we had a chance against them, he probably would have saved it because he looks very strong.
He does make great saves.
And I mean, he's going to make the Spanish side. That's an unbelievable achievement. So I was going to throw him in there, but I've only really watched him once, to be fair.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Last one. Premier League best player of the season to date. This one's tricky. A lot of names to be thrown. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Gundo from City.
Mm.
I just think he stepped up massively this season. I thought he was finished as a footballer. Like 2-3 seasons ago, I watched him in that City team, and he's literally transgressed so high. So yeah, I'll go with him, Gundo, the German. Smith Rowe, hey Wonga.
Sure, you're gonna say Aubameyang or Lacazette or something.
Nah, Aubameyang was second on my list for most surprising. We're not scoring goals anymore.
That's a good one.
I think I would say it's between Bruno and Harry Kane. But obviously I'd give it to Harry Kane. You know, his job is to be scoring goals, but yes, he's been and I mean I've been watching him play as well. Some of the goals he's been scoring, geez. I mean, he's not even a runner running into the box. I mean, he can just get the ball out the box, left foot, right foot, hit in.
He's also making
Find someone from
tackles, last-ditch tackles.
finding someone.
True.
Finding someone from the halfway line, finding them from close in, getting crosses out, also getting. I mean, some of the passes he's been giving, and I mean, you can match it to De Bruyne's passing as well. Some of the balls early crosses that he gives in. So yeah, definitely on performance. It's a pity that Tottenham are where they are, especially with his contributions. But yeah, I'd definitely give it to Harry Kane.
So if you go to that point, exactly that, like if you had to place Harry Kane in a better team, if you had to place him in City's team with that contribution, like how far ahead would they be? Like, say for example, Spurs were a better side, you know, they would really be competing. So I mean, in terms of pure stats, Harry Kane is definitely up there. But in terms of pure ability and contribution, in terms of a footballing aspect of getting their team into areas that are dangerous and creating chances, maybe from the first assist, not necessarily. Sorry, the previous assist. So like the second pass into
assist, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think I would have to say Gundogan.
You know, like if you. So like, but remember, you know, like if you look at remember Thierry Henry when he left Arsenal, he went to Barcelona, and I think he ended up scoring still between 30 and 40 goals. Robin van Persie left Arsenal, he literally won Man United the league. Went to Man United, Man United next season literally won Man United the league, and that was off having I think one good season at Arsenal, his first season where he actually didn't get injured. So yeah, I think if Harry Kane. He gets to another team. I think you're literally buying those goals. That's what you're doing, definitely.
Scott, who is your best player? Sorry, I'm just interested to find out in your opinion.
It's Max Sauce, man.
It's Max Sauce.
Because he's Scottish.
Scottish. Yeah, but you must take him. I know he sings Ruben Diaz. I actually have Ruben Diaz as a top 3 candidate. Ruben Diaz, Harry Kane, but my player of the season is Bruno Fernandes. He's carried my team. He's saying Luke Shaw's Man United's best player. Man. Listen, guys, I think it's so complicated these analogies and stuff. You know, I think obviously after the last 9 games, you'll obviously see the fuller picture. But I definitely feel that Bruno Fernandes has been the best player this season. But yeah, Ruben Diaz.
When you're saying that though, Celo, give us some criteria as to why you're saying Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, the big impact he's had on the side and but let's hear it, man. I want to hear from your mouth.
Like Man United can be so poor on the day, and Bruno will just score an amazing goal. From out of nowhere, doing it all on himself, and creating chances for other players. Yes, he can be wayward in his passing sometimes, but you have to make the high risk passes to make them pull, to make them work. You know what I mean? He's been involved in last minute goals that we've gotten, the comebacks that we've gotten as well this season. So I think definitely his impact on the team, Man United itself. He's carried on how he ended last season and carried on into the season. Gundogan has been good this season, but Gundogan only started being good since December. So Gundogan wasn't playing before December. Before December, he wasn't there. as a driving force of Man City. Ruben Diaz is Man City's best player. But yeah, I think City's a team this season that you can pick Cancelo as best player of the season, and no one will say no, you're wrong. You can say Diaz, no one's going to say you're wrong. When you say Gundogan, no one's going to say you're wrong. You know what I mean? And I think it's just because it's a well-oiled machine, a team.
But then Silo, wait. But then end of the season, we know the likelihood of the player getting this award at the end of the season is probably going to be a City player. So, despite the fact that
it doesn't have to. Gareth Bale has won it. Harry Kane has won it.
Possibly, but the chances, let's say, the chances are a lot higher.
It's definitely a City.
It's going to be a City player. So, if you had to choose one, which one would it be?
I said Ruben Diaz.
Harry Kane.
I said Ruben Diaz is second to Bruno. Yeah, I said that. That's what I said. I said Ruben Diaz is second.
I know you said that, but you just said no. You're like, you could pick anyone in the City team, Gundogan, blah, 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 blah.
No, what I'm saying is that Ruben Diaz is second and Harry Kane is third.
But let's wait for Claudio to say that Fabinho is the best player.
Is the best player this season. And we must all leave the room, guys. All leave the room at the same time.
I can't believe you guys. You don't take me that seriously, man. Mine is between two centre backs.
Fabinho and Ruben Diaz.
The first one is you got it right. The first one is Ruben Diaz, no doubt. The man's come in there, City need a defender. He's young, he's 23, he's come in leadership and he's done well. And you are right. You are right. The second one being a level 4. No. No, I said centre back. And it's not Fabinho. It's Nat Phillips. Nat Phillips has come in there. He's doing the thing there for Liverpool, lads. He's doing it. He's the defender we needed. He is.
This is my last appearance on this channel, boys. I'm done. No. Obviously, nowhere near shame. It's actually pretty bad, Nat Phillips. But you know what? I made a comparison with him and Jamie Carragher. Obviously, this isn't in the same category of what we're talking about. But I made the comparison saying, he reminds me of a Jamie Carragher where he's not technically good on the ball. He's terrible on the eye. But he's in the right spot at the right time and he fights for every little thing. And he's been solid. And I made this comment on Twitter, and one of the Liverpool fans was saying, stop being disrespectful to Jamie Carragher. And it was the Champions League game that they played against Leipzig. And afterwards, everyone sang all the praises because he won man of the match or whatever. And then I went back to that Liverpool fan. I was like, listen, bro, you still think I'm being harsh? He's like, yeah, I still think you're kind of being harsh. I'm like, listen, dude, he doesn't look good. He's not a footballer. But he's a flipping warrior. And sometimes you need a warrior to plug the gap. And that's all he is. He's a plug gap, but obviously definitely not league candidate of the season. For me, Ruben Diaz is getting that one. Let's see what Scott says. He says, Shaw consistently performs from start to finish every game. True. He doesn't disappear in games. Very rarely plays poorly. And Bruno scores a goal and detracts away from a poor performance. Interesting, guys.
But that happens a lot with any player, any good player.
Yeah, they show up and they score. They win games.
Cristiano Ronaldo could have a poor game and score a goal, and they were like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, fair point. Fair point.
Yeah, that's true. Sure.
Gents, thank you for joining us today. Everyone online. Oh, Shoro's meets Scott. Scott meets Shoro. The one sits in Scotland. The other one, I don't know where he sits, but he's not
Pretoria.
in Scotland. Pretoria East. You guys know where he lives.
He moonlights as a DJ.
He's probably at Summit right now. He's probably at Summit right now.
He is. He's playing. He's DJ. He's ready to play. He's about to play his set now. It's true. That's true.
Shoro, you must hook us up there with a goal lounge track, boy. You must give us something.
Man, something. Yeah, man. Make a track for goal lounge. And welcome back, Scott. We've missed you, man.
Yeah, we have. Well, we said this on Tuesday, Silo, but
I was in chair, Scott. Yeah.
He knows. He asked for you, my man. He asked for you. Anyways, guys, before we go, final words.
Martial's the best striker in the Premier League. That's what Scott always asks me to say.
Does he always ask me to say that? No way. I was going to say, do you think Martial will stay end of the season? Do you think United will keep him? Realistically.
Nah, I don't know what's happening with Man United, bro. Man United is a poor transfer strategy. I think firstly what we need to do at the end of the season, we need to let go of Cavani because he's too injury prone, and sign a striker. If we are going for Haaland, let's go for him. And yeah, Martial can play second fiddle.
Okay. Wonga, Rich, final words.
Thanks
for the chat, boys.
All right, everybody, thank you for tuning. Those that were here, obviously Scott and Shorter and Jason, you guys made yourself very apparent, and Savannah
and other Jason and Fana, Savannah, yeah.
Fana.
Fana,
Hey,
yes,
Fana.
thank you very much. Yeah.
Hey, Fana, I used to play soccer with that guy. If it's the same one.
It is,
good?
yeah.
Is he good?
Same guy. Yeah, decent. We played together. He was a right wing, very quick. No, I played with him.
Yeah, very
You were
very
the slow
quick.
left wing.
Huh?
You were the
No.
slow left wing.
Guys, wait, before we go, I must tell you the story. I went to go watch Wonga play once, and Wonga's got a mean left foot, right? And he's running down he's playing left back, and he's running down the wing, and I think it was at Atlantic. And he whoops this thing in, but proper bullet. It's like if you are Calvert-Lewin, it's the cross you want to put your head behind, because whatever's on that thing is just literally going to come off your head and go into the back of the net. He whoops this thing in, and I think it was, what is the player's name? Clumsy. I think it was Clumsy. I mean, the name says it all.
That's how the greatest person to get on the end of that. Huh?
The Soak whoops this ball in, and we all watching us like, what a ball, this is going in. Like, literally saw the pace at which he ducks, and he looks at his wife and he tells Wonga, what the hell's wrong with you? Why are you taking a shot at my head? That's what he tells him. Anyway, on that note, guys, have a good evening. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week, Tuesday, for the cool down. And is there any final saying? Like, we've got the cool down. If you don't want to be cool, do you guys have one for pre-match muti?
Ole out.
Ole out.
Ole out, yeah. Ole out, please, guys.
Babi is a bonk. What? Babi is a bonk.
Babi's a bonk. Let's say Steve Bruce in, man.
No, please, man.
My gosh, he's the greatest owner of all time.
End this thing now, Claudio.